it. I can't have
that clip with you and me and Adriana Chechik, 1.5 million views.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy.
I should have worn a Morning T-shirt.
It's pretty nuts.
That's amazing. Boy, God bless the porn stars with a big following. You never really realize how big
It's crazy.
it is. Yeah.
Speaking of a following, though,
I was hoping you were saying thinking of porn stars, but okay.
I saw, I think it was like a Facebook post of yours. You were in Ireland?
I was. I just got back. Yeah.
And you were walking down the street and someone was in a car and pulled over and recognized
That is crazy, right? Yeah. Somebody, I was walking, I went there to run a half marathon. I've been doing them, I've done now 6 in different cities around the world. Barcelona, Iceland, Ireland, Miami, New York. That's 5. I did 5. No, 6, and then 1 in Queens. I was walking across the street and a car pulls over and just like pulls by and says, "Thank you." And I thought he was just like, "Thank you for getting out of the way." I'm like, "For?" And he goes, "You're Ralph Sutton." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "SDR show gas station." I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Thank you." And a thick Irish accent. It was wild.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Wow. Well, or he could have just been swearing at you because the accent was so thick.
Right. Half the time there, I was just like, "Yep, sure." And I had a girl with me so she can verify I'm not lying about it. That's the important thing.
That is fucking awesome. You know what? I hope you're sitting for this brain buster. But and I never ventured past Dublin, which really pissed me off. But I was at the mercy of the press trip. But just like walking into a 600-year-old bar in Dublin, like, oh,
it's great.
Oh,
I saw the Cliffs of Moher, beautiful, also known as the Cliffs of Insanity from Princess Bride. That's what they are.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know they filmed in Ireland.
Yeah, that scene was filmed in Ireland.
It's just so pretty. And the people are alarmingly attractive.
Attractive and drunk. Like, if you are in your 30s, because I'm a little too old for it, in the area called Temple Bar in Dublin.
Oh, yeah.
There's just gorgeous drunk girls walking around that are very happy to talk to you, which is surprising.
Crazy.
Wow.
They want to talk. Yeah, it's really weird. Like, I was sitting at a bar, and I was looking at this, we were looking at something, and a girl looked at me and goes, "Can I help you?" And I thought it was going to be like, "Well, can I help you?" Staring at me. She's like, "No, I'm all right." She said, "No, you want to talk about anything?" Like, immediately, like, you think they're going to be shitting on you, but they just want to talk. So if you're listening or watching this and you're 30-something, it's not a long flight. It's not that expensive. Go to fucking Dublin.
It's great. I love it. And quite the walking city because there's no public transportation.
If you stay in Dublin. But outside, like, we went to running in an area called Ballyvaughan, which is kind of far. Stayed at a little castle and ran the area called the Burn, which nothing grows. We ran through that, but it was really a terrible run because it was more of a climb and a radical descent where someone broke their ankle, loose rock. It wasn't a run, but it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But it was, at one point I gave up and just started walking.
Well, I was going to ask, of the now 6 places you've done these half marathons, which was your favorite?
Each one for different reasons. I mean, it's a great way to see a different city. I thought Barcelona was wild because you're going through the whole city and it was pretty flat. But it's funny, it was so European because as you're going through, there's people watching and they're smoking cigarettes and blowing it in your face as you're running by, which is fucking hilarious. Iceland was crazy. Iceland was through the forest, which was pretty wild, along the water. And this one was the most treacherous. I would say this is my least favorite of the runs because it wasn't a run. It was terrible. It took me 3 hours. Normally, about 2 hours, a little under for a half. But it was nuts. If I went any faster, I think 3 people finished under 2 hours out of the 1,500 people that ran it.
By the way, thank you for not saying Barcelona.
Oh, no. Well, I think that, I can't do it. Can't do it.
By the way, apparently, much like Barcelona, when they do that, or Ibiza instead of Ibiza, apparently the true story is that a Spanish king...
Not true.
It's not true.
Sorry to cut you off. It's not true.
Oh,
I wanted it to be true.
He had a speech impediment, and he forced everyone else to say it like that.
Yeah. I thought it was true. I always looked at, we talked about how the English accent is manifested. It's a fake, the English accent, right? And I was like, when I heard this, I'm like, that sounds feasible. And I looked it up, but it's not true. It's a Catalan? Is that the name of the area?
Catalina?
Yeah, there's an area of...
Or that's the wine.
No, I think I could be... Yeah. No, I think it's Catalan is a part of
language they speak.
Yeah, and that mixture of the two languages, that inflection is what caused that lisping sound. It's not
It sounds a little more realistic.
Yeah.
I had an audition for a pilot, and I was playing sort of like a stuck-up PR woman. And so I made the choice. She said Barcelona, and I made the choice to say Barcelona.
That's great.
Because I felt like this character.
Sure. Oh, a PR person.
And the casting guy was like, "You could just say Barcelona." Thinking that was like my personal choice.
Right.
Like, I'm the idiot. And in that moment, you just have to take the fucking note. You can't defend your choices. So
I would have
it's like,
defended. I'd not gotten the part, I guess.
But then you're like, damn, I feel like some sort of white asshole who's.
Did you see Jury Duty by any chance? That show?
Yes.
So that woman who was complaining about how, I got ridiculed for being tall and good looking, and that it feels like that kind of character, that kind of woman.
Yeah. But I would have absolutely defended my choice rather than take the.
Also, this was like 4 years ago, and I still think about it.
That's the kind of stuff that keeps you awake at night.
Does it keep you awake because you were embarrassed?
Probably because I did not defend my choice.
Okay.
It's like I wish I had.
Because I was talking recently about like your most embarrassing moment, the things that stick in your head that you still think about.
So many. It's like I look at embarrassing moments like I look at people who say they have no regrets. Anybody who says they have no regret, I want to either punch them in the face or never want to talk to them again.
Or their brain is great at blocking shit out that was super embarrassing.
Exactly. But with embarrassments, though, I think my brain is a little bit because I have got so many on a daily basis that it's hard to come up with just one. Like, I think that you could probably justify anything that you did embarrassing as, like, a choice or something that I meant to do. And she's deluded enough to, like, think that her embarrassing thing was an awesome thing, indeed.
So, like, when people replay things in their head, like the embarrassing moments, what I do is I justify my actions.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And I'm just building myself up so I can move on.
Yeah.
When urinating, 40% of German men and 10% of American men always sit.
Wow.
There is a survey that just needed to know how many men sit. It is not that I can see sponsored by any sort of bathroom apparatus.
It has to be.
It's a survey done by British market research company YouGov. Yeah.
I can say, by the way, I read this. I never once in my life, I don't like to talk in absolutes, but I don't think I've ever sat just to pee. Ever.
Okay.
I've done it where I thought I was doing something else and just
that's
happening.
different. That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
I have standed to shit, though.
I've semi-stood.
I mean,
Wait, really?
no. Well, one time, which I talked about at length on my on SDR, I was walking home and I just had to take a shit really bad. I didn't make it all the way home, and I mumbled to myself, "I guess this is happening," and I shit my pants. So I was
been there.
Yeah, so that is technically standing while you're shitting.
And it's never the type of pants that could even remotely hide.
I actually keep the pants because they were shorts, but they were the kind of shorts that had like the little like elastic around off after the knee.
Oh,
and it's the only reason why shit wasn't coming out of my legs. So
Isn't that
I kept
preferable?
those. Like I honor those pants now.
I guess, but like it'd be better if it was really wide-legged shorts, and then you might be able to get away with less stainage and more dumpage.
No, I also wonder, like, it happened. I might have been coming home. No, I had lunch rather at in Union Square, and I knew right away. And I was walking home, and the thought was, well, what happened if I was on 80th Street or something, and I had to get home? I was only a block away from my house when it happened.
Okay.
So it didn't matter. Like, I really just, but I wondered, like, am I going to ride the subway with shit in my pants? Like, I don't know what I would have done.
As a
You would not be the
professional,
first.
the
true.
public bathroom situation is very few and far between in Central Park, but there are a lot of heavily wooded areas.
Right.
They have that.
But I mean, I had already shit my pants, so at that point.
Oh, at that point, sure, yeah. Oh God, yeah.
I did have the thought on my wedding day. I was, having some shits in the morning, and then
Sexy.
Yes, I was wearing Spanx under my wedding dress, and they are
Perennial.
very tight. And I was, of course, thinking of the Bridesmaids movie where Maya Rudolph is like, in the street. She's like, it's happening. And I
she's
actually
so good at
asked my friend, I think I had a few cocktails at this point, and I was like, do you think if I shat myself in my wedding dress that my Spanx would just keep it all in there? And
I'm sure it would.
Really good
I think it would.
question. Yeah.
And why doesn't Spanx market that way? They
Oh, boy.
should.
I had to stand in the shower with my clothes on for about 15 minutes because I just shit all over my clothes. My shorts. So I just stood in the shower.
It's like that scene in the Crying Game.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the dick sitting there.
It was
Honestly,
horrible.
No, but that is smart because what else?
What else are you going to do? Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, completely.
It's the best way to,
Yeah.
to get clean.
that was awful. Wow, it was pretty wild.
Well, the other thing too, if it's a really big emergency, is so much of New York has got these weird street constructions where they never do anything and nothing ever happens. Every once in a while, there's an unlocked
Yes.
porta potty. But if not that, there are so many divisions in there that you can kind of jump in there and be covered enough where you could do what
And then
you
get
wanna
arrested
do.
for shitting on a construction
If
site.
you
That would
are
be
hidden
cool.
well enough, and also the cops don't care at this point. But the broken window policy is long gone.
Which
That
was
is
a
always an
fallacy,
option.
by the way. But
Prove it, Bill. Prove it.
I have.
one thing in Europe that it does not here is there's so much more like $1 to shit public bathrooms.
Yes.
And I don't know why we. First of all, it'll be good revenue for the city. There's always someone there that's monitoring the bathrooms. That's jobs. I
Right.
don't know why we don't have it. I don't understand it.
I could be dreaming this, and again, what a dream. But I think that we did try to do in a couple of isolated areas in New York a thing that they also do in Europe, where the thing goes underground and it gets all washed. Water goes into it, and then it comes back up and it's clean again.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
And they had them in certain areas, like maybe I think one was in Union Square, to test them out. And of course, I don't think anything ever came of it. But
I forget where it is, but one of them might have been in Spain. But they have almost like a trailer. And it's like 5 bathrooms. There's a guy outside that is his job to clean them and take the money. And he just monitors and people go in. And it's a great, I don't get it.
Italy, right by the Spanish Steps. I had to use the bathroom, and it was €1. And you go, it almost looks like a subway station, like down. So like you go down some steps, and there's a men's and a women's, and like a little toll, like the little you pay, and then you can go in. And there's a person there, so there's always toilet paper.
Right.
It's
I would
clean.
pay $1 a shit anytime. I mean, it's crazy that that's not a thing.
Well, going back to Prague, I remember they wouldn't pay you, which is disgusting, but you didn't pay for the bathroom, you paid for the toilet paper.
Oh, boy.
And there's only so many plies, and that's where they get you. And I just remember being so infuriated by that. But it also just encourages a lot of either drunk people or cheap people or both to just be like,
That's a dumb idea.
Like, and I do remember it was not the most fragrant of places, too. But yeah.
Bill, you also spent some time in Australia. After German men, Australia had the next highest percentage of men who always sit at 25.
They're like a masculine.
It seems so effeminate. I don't know why, and it's such a stupid way to look at it, but it just seems there's no reason for it. It's so much.
Absolutely none. And it's
just
more
strange,
time.
and it's more effort.
Yes.
To sit. You're using more muscle, whereas you just stand. It's like a.
Especially using a public bathroom. It's like I don't think. First of all, I've never shit on a plane ever, because I would.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Haven't lived.
I just don't. I also never fucked in a bathroom on a plane. Have you? I've never done that. I'm too big.
That's surprising.
I'm too big. I can't bring anyone else in. It's not going to happen.
That's true. That's true.
But I wish I could. I would like to do that once, just for the story.
Too.
But it's not happening. Especially nowadays, it's not happening. There's no fucking way.
That David Pecker guy that he was the one that would buy and kill, or kill and buy stories for Trump in the National Enquirer. He ran the National Enquirer.
I think you'd have to buy and kill them first. You have to buy them, then kill them.
Whatever.
If you killed them and then you bought it, that'd be weird.
He was a very little man with a lot of money, so you know the type of person he was. And I was working for this thing called Sly Magazine. It's the best children's magazine. It was like a men's fitness for guys in their 60s. Weird that it never panned out. It was like he was on every cover. And I'm just trying as much as I could, because I was like a senior editor, to try to get them to do something a little outside the box. And of course, one of them was 25 things every guy must do before he dies. And Sly really liked that.
And it was P sitting down?
No, but it made me think of the flying. I was like, guys, every men's magazine has done this a million times over. How about the top 10 things you should do before you die debunked, and explain why each one of them actually sucks?
I love that.
And one of them was...
Sex on the beach is terrible.
Well, we didn't have that one, but again, it was only 10 because I didn't want to do 25. And one of them was Mile High Club, and I was able to find 3 or 4 people. I don't know how I did it, but that had a very bad experience, or got caught, or it was just uncomfortable, or there was an injury, and so it gets all the way to printing. And there was a million other ones, like run a marathon, a guy like Achilles, all that stuff. And there's all these ones. And then it gets to the final print. They're going over the galley right before it goes to the printer. It's all done. David Pecker looks at it, he goes, "What is this?" And they're like, "Oh, it's like, the thing, but it's debunked." He's like, "Man, I've been to the Mile High Club. It's amazing." And he went down each one. It was an excuse to show that he did all of them, and then also how awesome he was and how awesome they really are, and they killed it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus.
And it was, because David Pecker...
It goes to show what different priorities there are with flying. Mine is always like, how can I get a free upgrade? Like, that's what I'm focused on.
Right. I want to do
How can I spend the least amount of money and get the most drunk?
Mine is
all you.
mine is just fit in a fucking seat,
I
and
know.
it's fucking horrible.
With you, I assume you always want the aisle.
Yeah, I try to always get usually. Except nowadays, because of after COVID, like every flight is 100% full, so there's no like upgrades are few and far between. But I would always ask for the emergency row and just say, "Look, I'm almost 6'6". You're not going to just pit. I'm not just going to be miserable. The guy in front of me can't recline.
Yeah.
So most of the time they give me the emergency row, but
Yeah.
now that doesn't happen anymore. It just doesn't because every fucking flight I've been on the last 10 have been totally full.
We're back to pre-pandemic levels, but the prices are worse. The
Oh,
service
it's
is
crazy.
worse, everything's worse because I think it's just so many people quit for so long.
The weirdest thing happened. I'm on my trip to Barcelona, which was that's maybe 5 months ago to that last half. I went with a girl that I've been running on these things with, right? And I bought the tickets, I bought the flights, everything, and we're checking in, and they upgrade her and not me. Which is fucking crazy. It's my account, my Sky Miles number, everything, and then you're an
Is it a
asshole.
height thing?
I have no idea, but I'd be the asshole if I said, "Hey, no, that's my upgrade,"
Yeah.
And I probably would have given it to her anyway because you look like a dick if it's not both of you. But they just gave it to her. It was so fucking weird.
It had to have been a height thing.
I don't know. It was fucking weird.
And as much as I complain about how I'd love to be a taller, I'm even it's even worse because I'm very weirdly proportioned. Like I have a long torso but very tiny legs. It's great for
It's
flying.
probably great for flying.
It's great.
Also great for
flying.
breakdancing back in the day.
Yeah, I guess I could.
Or
pop a
now,
log.
you've been wanting a new hobby.
Guys, can we get out that cardboard? that we saw in
Showtime!
there?
Showtime!